Who was Abigail Adams? On June 17, 1775, at 3 o'clock a.m., Abigail Adams woke up with a start. Her bed was shaking. The dull boom of cannons 10 miles away in Boston shook the whole house. The British and the American colonists were at war. Abigail had almost gotten used to hearing the boom from the cannons every day as the armies fought. But this time was different. The cannon fire went on and on and on. Abigail's first thoughts were for the safety of her 4 children. She had managed the Adamses' small farm and big family by herself for months because her husband, John, was away. He had been nervous about leaving his family in a danger zone. However, he and Abigail both felt that he had to be at an important meeting in Philadelphia. John was among a growing number of people who wanted the colonists to break free from British rule. The meeting would decide the future of the 13 American colonies. At daybreak, Abigail and her 7-year-old son, John Quincy, climbed the hill behind their house to see what was happening. They could hear the guns roaring even louder. They stood on a pile of rocks at the top to get a better view. What they saw was horrifying. Beyond the British warships in Boston Harbor, flames and black smoke rose above the city. Abigail and her son held hands and walked down the hills in tears. The battle was one of the most important of the Revolutionary War, the Battle of Bunker Hill. Soon Abigail wrote about it to her husband. John showed her letters to General George Washington, the new head of the American Army. Abigail was living in the amazing times, and she described them and her life in amazing letters. She wrote over 3,000 letters in her lifetime. Abigail and her husband John had a special bond. You'll see that if you read their letters to each other. They both were deeply interested in politics. Abigail always thought first of her husband and family. But she was strongly for the rights of women, for education, and against slavery. She had many ideas about what freedom meant. She made sure her important husband heard her. The right to an education. Abigail believed education was very important. She sent one of her servants, a stable boy named James, to school in Quincy. This was never done, and people protested. Other boys refused to go to school if James did. Abigail told them, because his face is black, is he to be denied instruction? James attended the school with no further protest. Abigail lived apart from John for many years. War, political defeats, and the deaths of 3 of her children. But she stayed strong through it all, and her strength helped both her and her husband and her son, John Quincy, to become presidents of the United States. Abigail Adams was a great woman in her own right, a woman clearly ahead of her times.